Good afternoon, everyone. Today we will have a lecture on steel structure. So already we have started steel structure, and that is unit number one. So in previous lectures we have discussed about the different sections in steel structures. We have already seen the working stress method and the limit state method. So which one is more preferable in order to find out the different steel sections, or in order to design the steel sections. So nowadays limit state method is most probably used because we are designing the steel structures on the basis of limit state method. So why it has been designed with the help of the limit state method? Because we have to consider the overall span, that is the limiting load taken by the span. Limiting load, that is the maximum load taken by the span. So we have to design in such a way that if the maximum load taken, maximum load it has been applied on structures, so it should withstand the maximum load. So such maximum load or serviceability of the structure to be increased, the limit of maximum load to be increased, in order to avoid the rupture or in order to avoid the fractures in the structures. So we have to use the method as a limit state method. So this limit state method, it has been used in IS 800 2007. So the provision of limit state method, that is the LSM limit state method, it has been given in IS 800 2007. In previous years, or in previous designing concepts for steel structures, we were using working stress method. But as per IS 800 2007, we will design the steel structures, or we will design the different members in a steel structures with the help of limit state method. Okay? So all these provisions and criterias or clauses or different criterias in designing, the different steps in designing, it has been mentioned in IS 800 2007 as per limit state method. Okay? So limit state method we will consider by limit state method, and we will design by using IS 800 2007. So in IS 800 2007, we have to go through all the different clauses. We have to go through in short all the different provisions which has been given in IS, that is 800 2007. So we will see one by one the different clauses, the different things. Only thing, while designing the steel structures, the different members in the steel structure, so every part or every designing step or every criteria or every that is formula, it has been mentioned in IS codes. Okay? So you have to refer properly the IS code, that is 800 2007, so that in which page numbers or in which clause the which criteria it has been given, or which clause mentions the designing step in the steel structures. So all the designing steps or all the criterias or all the different provisions, it has been given in IS 800 2007. Okay? So while designing steel structures, so two things it has to be kept in mind, or two things it has to be within our sight, that is nothing but IS 800 2007 and the steel table. Steel table is also necessary in designing the steel structures. So steel table you have to purchase the steel table from the that is bookstall, or it is also available on the sites also. So with the help of steel table and with the help of this IS 800 2007, we have to design the steel structures. Okay? So these two things are compulsory in designing the different members in a steel structures. Okay? So IS 800 2007 and the steel table. Okay? So if it is not available, so you can search on Google's also. This IS 800 2007 is also available on Google, as well as I will also upload this IS 800 2007 on the Google Classroom also. So you can take this IS 800 2007 from the classroom, and also the steel table. Okay? So today we will start the lecture on that is nothing but the introduction on IS 800 2007. So in short, I will go through the different clauses. I have taken the screenshot, or I have taken the different paragraphs from the IS 800 2007, and we will go through all the things, or all the clauses from IS 800 2007. The next is nothing but, yes. So material properties. So this material properties, it is already mentioned in IS 800 2007 page number 12. So I have already written this page numbers on this bottom side, right side of this every slide. So this page numbers and this IS 800 2007, it has been taken from IS 800 2007. So page number 12. In page number 12, the material properties of steel which we are using in designing, it has been mentioned. The properties of structural steel for use in design may be taken as given in 2.2.4.1, that is and 4.2. That is 4.1. What is 2.2.4.1? That is physical properties of structural steel irrespective of its grade may be taken as first of all, the density, that is rho, it has been taken as 7850 kg per meter cube. Normally the density of steel is same, that is 7850 kg per meter cube, which has been used in designing purpose. Again, what is modulus of elasticity? That is capital E, it has been taken as 2 into 10 to the power 5 Newton per mm square, or megapascal, it is one and the same. So 2 into 10 to the power 5 Newton per mm square we will take as modulus of elasticity. Again, we will take as Poisson's ratio, that is mu as 0.3 for steel structures, steel members. Modulus of rigidity we will take as capital G as 0.769 in 10 to the power 5 Newton per mm square. Again, coefficient of thermal expansion, that is alpha T, alpha suffix T, we will take as 12 into 10 to the power minus 6 per degree centigrade. So all these criteria or clauses that has been given in page number 12 of IS 800 2007. Next is again in page number 19, there is some provisions given for steel sections. Already these steel sections or the shapes of the different steel sections we have seen in previous lectures. So this also, it has been mentioned in IS codes. So I have taken this from page number 19 of IS 800 2007. So what this clause 3.7.4 says, 3.7.4, it says as compound elements in built up sections. So this is nothing but figure number 2. First is nothing but I sections. This first criteria or first is nothing but the I sections. So here you have already seen this top portion, if it is visible, it is T suffix F. It is T suffix F. So it is nothing but T suffix F. So this top portion is nothing but T suffix F, that is the thickness of top flange. If the flange of this I section is same, that means top flange and bottom flange are same, that means we can take this as TF top and TF bottom as same. So thickness of top flange and thickness of bottom flange, F stands for flange, T stands for thickness, thickness of flange, whereas T stands for again thickness and W stands for web. This vertical part, it is nothing but the web. So thickness of web, it has been mentioned, we have to take while designing. So TW is nothing but thickness of web, whereas thickness of flange, top flange and bottom flange we will take, if it is same, so we can take as same, but in some cases it is unequal sections are also there, that means top and bottom flange thickness it may vary, but in this case it is same. Okay. What about this small d? Small d is nothing but the depth of this flange web. Depth of this web is nothing but the small d. So this is nothing but the rolled beam sections. We can use this in on beams as well as this I sections on columns as well. Next is nothing but the rolled channel sections, that is also called as C sections. This first one is called as I sections, and this it has been called as the rolled, that is channel sections. Again, thickness of top flange, that is TF, thickness of web vertical, whereas this height of this web, we are considering this as small h, instead of d it has been considered as h, small h. What about the width of this channel sections? We will consider this as b. Here width half, that is total width, we will consider as capital B. Capital B is the total width. What about small b? So small b is nothing but that is equals to capital B divided by 2. Small b is nothing but capital B divided by 2. Here this capital B is the total width of this flange. Again, this hollow section is there. In some cases we can use the hollow rectangular sections in which central part is hollow. So there is an external depth is there, capital D, external width is capital B, internal width is small b, and internal depth is small d. This is nothing but the rectangular hollow sections. Circular hollow sections, again small d is the diameter, internal diameter, and capital D is the external diameter. In tube sections, in some cases we can use the circular hollow sections. In steel, circular hollow steel sections also, so internal diameter is small d, external diameter is capital D. Again, angle section is also used. So this is the case of equal angle sections. In some cases there is unequal angle section, angle sections. In this case it is equal angle sections. Unequal angle sections are also there. So B is the width of this angle sections, D is the depth of this angle sections, whereas T is the thickness throughout. T is the thickness throughout. This is T sections, in which again the D stands from this top to bottom is nothing but small d. T stands for this thickness of web, thickness of flange TF, again the same criteria. Again, this single angle sections can be kept as back to back. Here it has been taken as back to back. So here back to back, that is double angle back to back sections, it has also been taken. Why we have connected this along the depth side? Why not we have connected on the width side? Because width is smaller and depth is larger. So we have to connect this on larger side because the strength will be more when we are connecting this on a larger side. So this larger side, we are connecting this to back to back angles on larger side. Why? Because this we have to increase the strength in order to take the maximum load, or in order to have take the maximum load and maximum strength. In order to achieve the maximum strength, we are attaching this two angle sections back to back on depth side instead of width side. Okay. So again, this it has been mentioned in page number 19, that is IS 800 2007. Again in page number 18, that is IS 800 2007, some provisions are also given, that is the limiting width to thickness ratio. While deciding the steel sections, we have to consider the thickness as well as the width. Okay. So this ratio is also very important. The limiting width to thickness ratio is very important because this will decide the strength of the that is the steel section. This will decide the which steel section to be used, or which steel section it is comfortable to be used, or which steel section will have the maximum, will take the maximum load. So this width to thickness ratio is again important. Okay. So these members, or these different section names are given, that has been also already mentioned in that is page number 18. There is a full page, but I have taken this half page of this page number 18. So compression elements ratios B to TF, if it is visible, B upon that is TF. TF, that is nothing but thickness of flange. B, that is small b, is width of the section divided by BT, that is the thickness of flange. So what should be the criteria for this? There are again the sections, it has been divided in three classes, that is class 1, class 2, class 3. Class 1 is plastic, class 2 is compact. This plastic state, it is not the plastic which we are using nowadays, it is the state of the section, that is plastic state of the section, compact state of the section, and semi compact state of the sections. Okay. So class 1 is nothing but the plastic state of the section, class 2 is nothing but compact state of the section, and class 3 is nothing but the semi compact state of the sections. Okay. So if we are considering class 3, so what will be the B by TR TF for rolled sections? So it is 15.7 epsilon. Okay. What is this stands for? So this I have written here, that is 250 divided by Fi, that is the ultimate stress in the steel, that is 250 divided by Fi raised to 1 by 2, raised to 1 by 2, that is square root, that 250 divided by Fi. So this epsilon, it has been taken as 250 divided by Fi. If it is welded section is there, normally it is rolled sections or welded sections. So again B by TF we can take for third class as 13.6, 9.4 epsilon for class 2, and 8.4 for epsilon for class 1. Depending upon class, we have to take this B by TR, and we have to put this value as epsilon as this. Again, internal elements of compression flange, compression due to bending. If it is bending, so we can take this as 42 times epsilon mu epsilon. Neutral axis at mid section is there, again we can take this formula. So all these, it has been mentioned in page number 18 of IS 800 2007. Again, this criteria is also important, that is 3.8, clause number 3.8, that is the maximum effective slenderness ratios. Okay. So maximum effective slenderness ratio is again very important in designing the different steel sections. Okay. So first, in previous slide we have seen the width to thickness ratio. Now we are seeing the slenderness ratio. What is slenderness ratio? So maximum effective slenderness ratio, that is given as KL by R. KL by R. What is this KL? KL is nothing but the K into L, capital K into L. That is nothing but the effective length. So when there is a column which has been connected, or when there is a beam which has been connected on ends, or when there is a column which has been connected on ends, so this effective length of that column we have to consider here. So KL upon R, the KL is nothing but the effective length upon R. What is this R? R is nothing but the radius of gyration. So this ratio in together we can call this as slenderness ratio. KL by R is nothing but the slenderness ratio. So we have to decide the slenderness ratio, or we have to take the slenderness ratio in case of designing the various sections of steel members. Okay. So it has been given in table number 3. 3.8 is nothing but the clause, and table in 3.8 the table is nothing but 3. So maximum value of effective slenderness ratios, there are the different conditions are given. So we have to satisfy these conditions, we have to take these conditions, and we have to take the value of KL by R. The first condition is nothing but a member carrying compressive load resulting from dead load and imposed load. If it is carrying a compressive load, normally column carries that is nothing but compressive load, and beam carries the tensile loads. Okay? So a member carrying compressive load resulting from this compressive load resulting from dead load and imposed load, so we can directly take KL by R as 180, maximum effective slenderness ratio, that is KL by R directly as 180. If it is a tension members is there with a reversal of direct stresses occurs due to dead loads other than wind or seismic loads, seismic load, but it should be a reversible load. Again, the same value it has been taken as 180. If the members subjected to compressive forces resulting only from combination of wind or earthquake actions, provided the deformation of such members does not adversely affect the stress in any part of the structures, so we will take this as KL by R as 250. Again, compression flange of a beam against lateral torsional buckling, we can take this KL by R as 300. So no need to confuse, all these criterias or all these conditions will be given in the questions, and we have to decide the conditions, and we have to take directly KL by R as 180 or 250 or 300 from page number 20. So we have seen in page number 20, that is clause number 3.8. So you can also refer the IS code as 800 2007, page number 20. Next is nothing but from page number 30. This thing is again important. Table number 5, that is partial safety factor for materials, that is gamma m. So gamma m is also important, that is partial safety factor for materials, that is gamma m, that is being mentioned in clause 5.4.1. So what this clause or what this table says, so it is partial safety factor. It has been used in designing purpose in tension members. In next slides we will see where this partial safety factor it has been used. So this partial safety factor, that is gamma m, it has been used. What are the different conditions if it is visible? Resistance governed by yielding. If there is yielding in the members, if the yielding stresses are developed, if the yielding is done in yielding, it has been carried out in the members. So gamma m0, it is gamma m0. Gamma m0, we will take this as 1.10. If it is buckling, so we will take this gamma m0 for 1.10, that is same. If it is ultimate stress, that is gamma m1, we will take this as 1.25. Gamma m1, we will take this as 1.25. If it is bolts frictions, gamma mf, f, gamma mf, f stands for frictions, gamma m stands for the partial safety factors, but for in case of frictions, f suffix it has been used, the gamma mf. Again, there are two criteria, if it is shop fabricated and field fabrication. Shop is nothing but the factory. In some cases we have to assemble all the different steel sections in the factory or in the shop. So if it is shop fabricated or factory fabricated, we can take these values. Okay? If it is field fabricated, that means in situ in the sense in site we are fabricating. So field fabrications is there, so all these values we have to take. The first one is the bolded frictions, gamma mf, we can take 1.5, 1.25, for both the cases it has been same. If it is bearing, gamma mb, bearing, gamma mb, so again it is same 1.25, 1.25. If it is rivets are there, ठीक है, gamma m r, if r gamma m r rivets, so it is same, but for welds gamma m w we can take this shop as 1.25, and for field fabrications we can have to take as 1.50. so while designing purpose, or while the different taken while we are taking the seal sections, so we have to refer this page number 30. If it is shop fabricated, shop welded, or field fabrications is there, so we have to refer this page number 30. Again, from section C 6, that is design of tension members. So again, design of tension members are also important. So again, this clause or this section 6, it has been mentioned in that is page number 32 of IS 800 2007. So you have to refer this page number 32. So what this design of tension members, so normally we are designing compression members or tension members. Some members takes the compressive loads, that is the compression members, and some takes the tensile load, that is the tension members. So we have to find out, we have to design the members. In some cases we have to design a member as a tension member, and in some cases we have to design a member as a compression members. So in this case we are designing the member as the tension members. Okay, so design of tension members, so which things to be considered. So TD should be greater than capital TD, that is the design factor design tensions, it should be, or design strength of the member TD, it should be greater than the T. That means if the load taken by this member is 250, so what should be the design strength? So near about it should be 255. That means the strength should be more than the load taken by the member. Strength of that member should be more. Design strength of the member should be more. Okay? So TD should be more. So when the TD will be more, that means the member is safe. The member is safe. Okay? When the TD, that is the design strength of the member, is less, that means it will fail. It will collapse, or it will fail. The steel members will not be safe. So this first thing it is to be considered. So TD should be maximum, it should be more than T, that is the factor design tension. Again, while designing or while finding out the design strength, that is TD. So this TD depends upon three criteria. This TD depends upon, that is the design strength of this member depends upon these three things. It has already mentioned, and I have already separately written also. The design strength of the member under axial tension, that is TD, is the lowest of the design strength due to yielding of cross sections, that is TDG, yielding of gross sections, TDG, rupture strength of critical section, TDN, and block shear, TDB. So that means these three things to be considered while designing or while finding out design strength. That means this design strength TD depends upon these three things. First thing is yielding of gross sections, TDG, rupture strength of critical section, TDN, block shears, TDB. So TDB. So these three things that is being mentioned in 6.2, 3 and 4 respectively, we will see in next slide. So these three things are important in finding out the design strength of the member. That means design strength of the member depends upon these three things. That means first we have to find out yielding, next we have to find out rupture, next we have to find out the block shear. Okay? So one by one we will see what is yielding or what is ruptures, how to find out, and what is block shear. So these three things to be find out in order to find out the design strength, in order to achieve the design strength. Okay? So these are mentioned in page number 32. Next is nothing but the design strength due to yielding. Yes. So serial number 1 is nothing but design strength due to yielding. So design strength due to yielding of gross sections. So TDG, it has been given as suffix as TDG. Design strength due to yielding of gross section, TDG. What is the formula for this? AG Fy divided by gamma m0. Yes, this gamma m0 we have discussed in previous slide, that is partial safety factor. Okay? So AG divided by phi divided by AG multiplied by phi divided by gamma m0, This all will it will be taken for TDG, that is the gross yielding of gross sections. Fi stands for yield stress of the material, which will be given in the in the question. Ag is nothing but the gross area of cross sections. So how to find out this gross area of the cross sections we will see in problems. So Ag into Fi divided by gamma m0. So gamma m0, it has been given in this, that is gamma m0, yes, in this page number 30, gamma m. So gamma m0, this, if it is yielding, so for yielding this, take it will we will take this as 1.10. So I have already seen the shown this slide 1.10. So we have to directly take this gamma m0 as 1.10 for this case. Yes, the gamma m0, it is 1.1. Fy, we will take this 250 depending upon the steel sections, it will be given in the question. And Ag, we will find out how to find out Ag, we will see in the questions. Okay, so all these yielding, that is yielding of gross sections, it has been mentioned in page number 32 of IS 800 2007. And again page number 33. So next is number 2 is nothing but, after yielding, what is number 2? Number 2 is nothing but the design strength due to rupture. What is rupture? There is fracture, there is cracks. When the cracks are developed in the plates, or when the cracks are, these are all are in short, these are the checks in the design strength. Okay, so check for yielding, check for rupture, or check for block shears. Okay, so all these in short is nothing but the checks made for the steel sections. So number 2 is nothing but the rupture. So design strength due to rupture, but this rupture of plate will be there, rupture of angles will be there, so ruptures of different sections will be there. Okay, fracture or rupture or cracks provided in plates. Okay, so design strength due to rupture of critical sections. So number 1 for rupture in case of plates, when there is a rupture or cracks provided in plates, so the design strength in tension of plates, TDN, it will be denoted by T suffix DN, as governed by rupture of a net cross sectional area AN. Here in previous slide we have seen gross area, here we will consider as net area. So how to find out net area or how to find out gross area, we will see. Okay, only we are going through the different clauses in IS codes. Okay, while actually solving the problems, we will see how to find out AN or AG or Fy or gamma m0, we will see one by one. So here AN is nothing but the net area at the holes in the given is given by TDN, that is equals to 0.9 AN. Fu, instead of Fy it is Fu, and instead of gamma m0 here there is gamma m1 for rupture. Yes, so 0.9 AN Fy divided by gamma m1. What is gamma m1? Again in slide number that is 6, in slide number 6 we have seen gamma m0, gamma m1, the values. Okay, so gamma m1 is nothing but the partial safety factor for failure at ultimate stress, which has been mentioned in table number 5 of page number 32. Fu, ultimate stress of the material, again it will be taken from the IS codes, or it will be given in the questions. An is nothing but the net effective area. How to find out this net effective area? So here there is again a formula which has been given for to find out the net effective area. So An is equals to, in complete bracket, small b minus ndh, small n, numbers of bolts, number of bolt holes in the critical sections, number of bolt holes in the critical section. Dh is diameter of hole, dh is diameter of bolt hole, diameter of hole. The width minus number of holes into diameter of hole plus summation of psi square, divided by 4gi, complete bracket, multiplied by small t. So one by one, what is b? So here this small figure will relate all these parts. All these things, it has been given in IS codes, only we have to understand properly. Okay, so I have already said that everything, every part, every clause or every designing step, it has been mentioned in IS 800 2007. Only you have to recall this, on in which page number it has been given, and how to take that data, how to use that data. Okay, What is B? B is nothing but this part is width of plate. What is N? Number of holes. So in this case, how many numbers of holes is there? 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. That means 5 are the numbers of holes. What is DH? DH is nothing but the diameter of hole. These are the holes provided where we will tighten the bolts. That means two plates will be tightened with the help of bolts. These are the holes. The diameter of hole, DH, diameter of hole, plus summation of PSI. What is PS? PS is the pitch distance. What is pitch distance? That means the distance between the two holes, but it should be measured in the direction of load. These two arrows indicates direction of load. That means load will be applied in X directions. So if the distance it has been measured along the direction of load, that distance we will call this as pitch distance. Yes. What is pitch distance? P, pitch distance or pitch length. The pitch length is measured along the direction of loads. If it is measured along the direction of load, that distance we will call this as the pitch length or pitch distance. Yes, staggered pitch length between the line of bolt holes. Again, if this distance is measured perpendicular to the direction of load, this distance, that is small g, this small g, it has been measured perpendicular to the direction of load, that is gauge distance. What is gauge distance? The distance which has been measured perpendicular to the direction of load is nothing but the gauge distance, and which is measured along the direction of the load is nothing but the pitch distance. So these two things it has to be taken in this formula. So P, pitch average, that is pitch square, and 4 times gauge distance. What is T? T is nothing but the thickness of plate in Z directions. This figure it is in X and Y direction, so thickness will be in Z directions. Okay. So this small thing or this small figure itself explain every concept of AN, that is the net area. Okay. Again, so in plates we have already seen. Okay. So critical, that is rupture in case of plates. Number 2 is nothing but rupture in case of threaded bolts. The design strength of threaded bolts in tension, that is TDN, as governed by rupture. So this we are considering about ruptures. So already I have stated that we are considering the ruptures. So rupture in plates, rupture in rods also. Okay, there may be break in rods also. There may be breakage in plates, and there may be breakage in the rods. If it is rupture in rods, so what is the formula for rupture? TDN is equals to 0.9 AN FU divided by gamma M1. Okay, again this is nothing but the same which has been mentioned in page number 33. Next is single angle sections. What is single angle sections? Again, rupture in case of single angle section, that is the third criteria. Number 1 criteria was plates. Number 2 criteria was threaded rods. Number 3 criteria is nothing but single angle sections. So these are the figures for single angle sections. These are the two figures for the single angle sections. Okay? So single angle sections, if there is a rupture in angles, so what should be the formula is used when there is a rupture in angles? The rupture strength of an angle connected through one leg is affected by shear leg. The design strength, that is TDN, as governed by rupture at net section is given by. That means if it is there is an angle and there is a rupture in angle, or we have to find out the check for rupture in case of angles. So what is the formula for TDN? So TDN is 0.9 capital A NC, capital A NC FU divided by gamma M1 plus beta AG0 or AGO FY divided by gamma M0. But what this beta stands for? Again there is formula for beta, 1.4 minus 0.076 W upon T. Fy upon Fu, small bracket close, again there is a bracket, Bs divided by Lc. It should be less than or equal to Fu, gamma m0 divided by Fy, gamma m1 bracket close. Again it should be greater than or equal to 0.7. That means this beta should be greater than 0.7. The value of this beta, it should be greater than 0.7, and it should be less than this value. It should be less than this value, and it should be greater than 0.7. That means it should be in the range of these two values, where in this formula there are the different terms is used. W is used. What is this W? The W is outstanding leg width. What is outstanding? The outstanding leg width is nothing but where the connection it has not been made. Outstanding. Okay. So here there is a small figure. Here this angle section it has been connected with this dot is plate. This angle section it has been connected with plate. So this it has been connected from this part, but here it is unconnected. There is no connections. So here what this W length indicates, where the connection it has not been made, the length of that part of a leg where the connection it has not been made. So small W, outstanding leg. What is BS? BS is shear leg width as shown in figure 6. What is BS? BS is W plus WT minus T. W, this is W. What is WT? WT is the distance where we are tightening the bolt. The distance from where bolt it has been applied and the edge. Okay? So this distance is WT, this distance is W, and this distance is thickness. तो BS का formula यहाँ पे given है, BS is equals to W plus WT minus T. W plus WT minus T. ठीक है? So this together it will form as BS, which has been taken in this formula here, BS. Yes. So W it is outstanding leg, T is the thickness, Fu, Fi, Fu it has been mentioned in BS. Yes. Next, what is LC? LC is length of end connection. That is the distance between the outermost bolt in the end joint measured along the load directions, or length of the weld along the load directions. That means the distance where bolts are applied, the total distance will be considered as LC. So actually while solving the problem we will see the value of LC. Okay? LC is the total distance from where we are applying the bolts. For preliminary sizing, the rupture strength of a net section may be approximately taken. We can use this formula or we can use this formula. So normally we are using this formula, so there is no use of this formula. So there is an approximate, it is approximately used, but more accurately we are using this formula as TDN is 0.9, but approximate, in order to find out the approximate value of TDN in case of single angle sections, so we can use this formula also, but it is rarely used, though this we will use as TDN as the complete formula. Okay? Again this alpha it has been taken for this. AN, what is this AN? In this case also AN is used. So AN is the nothing but the net area, already we have discussed. What is ANC? It has been used in the complete formula, 0.9 ANC. What is ANC? Capital ANC is nothing but the net area of connected leg. Net area of the connected leg. So how to find out this net area of the connected leg, we will see. Next is AGO. AGO. So what is AGO? Gross area of the outstanding leg, and T is the thickness of the leg. So no need to confuse, because we will while actually solving in the problems we will see these things. Next is other sections. Next is nothing but the other sections. We have seen plates, we have seen rods, we have seen angle sections. Fourth one is other sections. If there is beyond these four criteria, if beyond these three criteria, if there is other sections, so the rupture strength TDN of a double angle, that is channels, I sections and other rolled steel sections connected by one or more elements to an end gusset, is also governed by shear leg effect. The design tensile strength of such sections, as governed by tearing of net section, may also be calculated using That is equation number 6.3.3. That means in previous equations the complete formula we can use for other sections also. We can use for other sections also. Okay, the page number 33. Next is nothing but the design strength due to block shear. The design strength due to block shear. How to find out block shears? The third criteria. One was yielding. Number two was rupture. Number three was block shear. Number three was block shear. If you are recalling, so number three was block shears. Okay. So number three is nothing but design strength or tensile strength in the members due to block shear. So design strength due to block shears. The strength as governed by the block shear at an end connection of plates and angles is calculated as given in. If it is bolted connection is there, so how to find out the block shear in case of bolts? The block shear strength, that is TDB of connection, shall be taken as the smaller of these two values. The lesser value will be taken. These are the two formulas. The lesser value will be taken as the block shear. Okay. So TDB is equals to ABG, capital A VG Fy divided by square root of 3 gamma m0 bracket close plus 0.9 ATN, capital A TN, capital A TN Fu divided by gamma m1, again the complete bracket close, or TDB is equals to 0.9 AVN Fu divided by square root of in bracket gamma m1 bracket close plus ATG, instead of ATN here it is ATG, Fy instead of Fu it is Fy divided by gamma m1 gamma m0 or O instead of 1. Okay, there is little bit change. So lesser value of both we will take as the block shear. So AVG is equals to, that is AVG and AVN is nothing but the minimum gross. G stands for gross, minimum gross, and N stands for net, AVN, and net area in shear. That means AVG stands for gross, AVN stands for net. The minimum gross and net area in shear along bolt line parallel to external force respectively. What is ATG and ATN? Minimum gross and net area in tension from the bolt hole to the toe of the angles. We will see what this toe of the angles or how it has been measured. Fu and Fy. Fu stands for ultimate and Y stands for yielding. So ultimate and yielding stress of material respectively. So these criteria, that is 6.4, that is 6.4.1, it has been mentioned in 33 and 34. This half part is it has been mentioned in 33 and this half part it has been mentioned in 34. Again in page number 73 and 74 the criteria it has been given. These criteria are also important. Okay? So already in previous slide I have shown a small figure in which we have defined the pitch value, we have defined the gauge distance, what is gauge distance, what is pitch value. So what should be the maximum pitch value, what should be the minimum pitch value, or what should be the maximum gauge distance, or what should be the minimum gauge distance. Okay? So this it has been again mentioned in page number 73 and 74 of clause number 10.2.2. The minimum spacing, the distance between center of fastener shall not be less than 2.5 times nominal diameter of fastener. Okay? So nominal diameter, it should not be less than 2.5. The minimum distance of two bolts, the maximum is minimum distance between the two holes, bolts or holes, it should be 2.5 times the nominal diameter of fastener. Then what should be the maximum spacing? The maximum spacing, again there are different criteria, that is from that is 10.2.3.1 to 3 and 4, the different conditions. The distance between the center of any two adjacent fasteners shall not exceed 32 times T, that is thickness, or 300 mm, whichever is less, where T is the thickness of the thinner plates. That means the distance between the center of any two adjacent fasteners shall not exceed. That means maximum is 32 times T or 300, whichever is less. Maximum should be 300 and minimum should be 2.5 times D. Again, what the clause number next says, that is 3.2 clause number, the distance between the center of two adjacent fastener, that is pitch. Already we have discussed this pitch value. In a line laying in the directions is less, in tension member, in direction of such, shall not exceed 16 times T or 200, whichever is less in tension member. If that member comes under tension, what should be the maximum that is spacing? 16 times T or 200. If it is in compression, what should be the value? It should be 12 times T or 200, whichever is less. Again, this distance shall not exceed 4.5 times the diameter, and maximum should be 4.5 times the diameter of fastener of a distance equal to 1.5 times the width of the member from the butting face. Again, this criteria is also given: the distance between the center of any two consecutive fasteners in a line adjacent and parallel to an edge. Here it is a pitch distance. What is edge distance? What is edge distance? So an edge of an outer plate shall not exceed 100 times, that is 100 mm plus 40 or 200 mm. This is edge distance. Okay. Again, when fasteners are staggered, there is zigzag way it has been applied. What should be the gauge distance? The gauges should not exceed 75 mm. If it is along the zigzag way, staggered way, that is zigzag way. These are the criteria used when it is in one line parallel to each others. But if it is not parallel to each other, it is in zigzag way, so this 3.4 clause will be used. Okay. Next is edge and end distance. The minimum edge and end distance from the center of a hole to the nearest edge of a plate shall not be less than 1.7 times the hole diameters in case of sheared or hand flame cut edges, and 1.5 times the hole diameters in case of rolled, machine flame cut, swan and land edges. These are the methods for welding. So it should be, we have to take 1.7 times the diameter of hole in case of hand flame cut edges, and we have to take 1.5 times the hole diameter in case of machine flame. If this machine flame is used, we have to take 1.5 times the diameter of hole. If it is hand flame, machine flame and hand flame, so hand flame it is 1.7 times, and machine flame it is 1.5 times. So in this way, all these and this it has been mentioned in page number 74. So in this way, all these criterias it has been mentioned in the IS 800 2007. So you have to go through all these things, and one by one you have to recall these page numbers, you have to recall these clauses, and you have to use while designing the tension or compression members in case of steel structures. Okay. So here in today we will end this today's lectures. If anyone having doubts, so they can contact me, or they can message me, or they can contact me and ask the questions regarding anything which has not been understood. Okay. So here we will end this today's lectures. Thank you everyone. Thank you all.